Hello, welcome back. My name is Segun, and welcome to the part 3 of this episode, which is interface walkthrough. Now, we've been on Blender, and I want to show you how to navigate your way and also show you how the interface on Blender really works. It's actually easy to use Blender. And now, first of all, Blender has a feature which is actually unique to every 3D software, which is showing you the axis. Now, what are axes? It shows the direction at which a particular object should move or be placed. I'm going to show you how the axis works. The axis comes in 3 axes, which is the Z-axis, the X-axis, and the Y-axis. Now over here, if you hover your mouse, just give me a minute. Over here, if you hover your mouse, you could see the Z, X, and Y. Now the green is always the Y-axis. Now what is Y-axis? The Y-axis, depending on where your 3D character is, the Y-axis has to do with the back and the front. If you're moving an object back and front, that is where the Y-axis is. Now the X-axis is what you see, which is the red line. It has to do with moving a particular object from the right to the left. And the final one is the Z-axis. Now, with the view that we are looking at, this is an orthographic view. With this view we are looking at, we won't actually be able to tell where the Z-axis is. Now, if I want to show you where the Z-axis is, it's quite easy. You should just press your number pad 1 on your 3D software. Now, immediately that takes you to the Z-axis. You get what I'm saying? It just takes you straight to the Z-axis. Now, if you look here, you see this blue line running down. Now, this blue line here is the Z-axis, and the Z-axis has to do with up and down. If you want to move an object up and down, or you place an object somewhere, then you will know what particular axis the object is, if it's up or down. Now, we're going to do an example on the Blender interface, how it works. Now, this is our cube. Now, our cube here, if you want to move the cube backward and forward, it's quite easy. All you need to do is hold down the cube, once you hold down the cube, and you press G and Y. Now G means move, and Y is the direction, which is Y-axis, meaning what you said is G plus Y, meaning I want to move the cube to the Y-axis. Now G stands for the word move. Move the cube to the Y-axis. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. It's quite easy. Now, if you can't do that, then the next thing you could do is, like I said earlier, is you could use your right click, because I like grabbing objects with my right click. You can use your right click. Now for you it might be a left click, so you can use your left click to move it to the Y-axis. But the challenge I have with this technique is you might not know exactly where you want to place the object. So even if you want to move it, it's advisable you still press the G, then you move G and move. You move G with your Y-axis. That means you hold down G and you move around the Y-axis. Now, but I prefer you just use your G and Y, then move your mouse. It's going to take you straight to the Y-axis. That's back and front. You can see the cube is moving back and front, Then to drop the cube back where you want, just click maybe that your left click again or your right click. Now, the next one is want to look at the X-axis. Now, what's the X-axis? You know, I told you about X-axis. It has to do with left and right. Now, if I want to move it from left to right, if you want to move the cube, it's very easy. Same method, G plus X, meaning G and X. So let's try it. G for move, then X. You find out your cube moves the X-axis. It just stays on the X-axis and it moves left and right with your mouse. You can just do that. It's quite easy. So that's one of the best ways to move an object from left. Like for example, if I want to move everything on the Blender interface, which has to do with the camera, the light, and the cube, all I need to do is hold down Shift, click on the camera, still holding down Shift, you click on the light. Then I want to move them to the Y-axis. What do? Exactly, G and Y. So you move it back and front. Very simple. It's not a rocket science. It's just intelligence, which I know you guys are all intelligent. So the next thing we're going to look at is we want to learn how to move an object along the Z-axis. So guess what do? Exactly, G plus Z, meaning you move G to the Z-axis. So what you just do, very simple, you press a G and Z, then you move your mouse. You see it moving up and down, up and down. Now that's the easiest way to move in the Blender software. Very easy. The next thing we're moving on to is how do I go to front orthographic view? If I want to work on an object and I want it to be front orthographic, I want to just work on something in the front. Now it's very easy. You remember when we went to user preference, I enabled something here in the user preference under navigation, which has to do with numpad. Now if we disable the numpad, let's save it. Let's save the preference. Now let's close it. If I tell this object I want to go to the front view and I press 1, which is supposed to be my front view, it's not going to respond because I've disabled the numpad. So what I need to do is go back to user preference, that's edit, preference, then you go to your numpad, emulate numpad, and you enable it. Then let's save our setting. Now let's close. So now if I want to move to the front orthographic view, once I press 1, it takes me straight to the front orthographic view. This is the front of the object I'm working on. Now if I want to look at the side view of the object, what I need to do is quite simple. I just press 3. It takes me to the side of the object. Now, because we're working on a cube, you might not understand what we're doing. So I'm going to bring a character that you can relate with so you understand how the numpad is working. All right. I'm not going to delete this. So I'm going to go to, you don't need this by the way, because I'm going to teach you later. I'm going to go to import and I'm going to get an OBJ object. So I'm going to look for something on my desktop. I think I have like a robot on my desktop. Let's see, bots. Let me check on the bots. Okay, I have a robot here. I'm going to enable it. So I think our robot, when it was modeled, the person who modeled it kind of like used another axis. So we're going to turn it to relate to our axis. Just give me a minute. All right. Now our robot is facing the front because this is our front orthographic view. If you look over here, you see front orthographic view. That's the view you are in. That's the front of the model. So now, for example, if I'm trying to do something on this model and I want to work on the side. So what you do is, like I said, very easy. Just press your number 3 pad. Now it's going to show you the side view of your robot. Now this is it's so interesting that it's very easy to actually access every part in Blender. Now, for example, I'm back in my front orthographic view. If I, for example, want to do something on the top, the head of the character, the top, looking at it like from an area view, like a drone view, it's quite easy. All I need to do, just press 7 on my numpad. It takes me to the area view of the character. Let's go back to the front view. Now, if I'm working on, for example, I'm working on the left side of the character, which I'm in my numpad 3, the left side, and I want to work on the right side. Now, you know, it's kind of like tricky. You want to work on the right side. It's very easy. What you need to press, just hold Control and 3. It's going to bring the right side of the character. Now, this feature helps you to actually navigate around your character fast and quick. If you know you can do that, one of the things you can do is hold down the middle mouse button and rotate. So you can look at the side you want to look at. You get what I'm saying? You just hold down the middle mouse button. Very easy. Then you can use a perspective and look at it from anywhere you want to look at your character. Now, these are methods we use in making our modeling or whatever you're going to do on Blender fast. So we'll go back to front orthographic view, which is 1 exactly. So the next thing we're going to do from here is we're going to look at other features in Blender. Now, if you notice, if I scaled something this big, maybe I want to work on the head of this character, but the way I zoomed it, the head is going out of frame. Now, it's very easy. Consider this like a Photoshop, CorelDRAW, or that you have this palm here. Now, this palm here, it's quite easy. Just hold it down and you pull down. Now I'm at the head region where I want to work. If I want to work on the feet, all I need to do, hold the palm down and I can move to the feet. If I zoom in and I want it right where I want it, you see, I can work on it by just using the palm to actually check it out. Now, another feature on Blender is you could use, if you want to zoom closer, maybe you don't want to use your mouse, which I would advise you to learn how to use. It's quite faster. You could use your zoom tool here to move front and back, forward and backward. Now, maybe because now we have the camera. Now the camera takes us straight into the camera view. Camera view meaning, you know, we have like, let's go back to the, like for over here, you know, when we started in Blender, I told you we have a camera. These are default camera. If you want to look at how this object looks in Blender, it's quite easy. Just click the camera feature here. So it takes you right to where the camera is focusing on. Now, the camera is focusing on the cube. And this, I would actually explain to you why we have something like this. This happened because of a reason. And that reason had to do with not only geometry, but the size of the robot that's in this interface. So I'll explain that in a later course to you, so you can click out of the camera view. Again, what else? If peradventure you don't like to move with your mouse button, you can just hold X axis here. You see, I'm moving around the X axis. Or if it's Y, you can move around the Y axis. And if it's Z, you can move around the Z axis. So basically, these are shortcuts in Blender and how to navigate your way through Blender. I hope you actually love this course. I hope you're following along. And in the next topic, I'll be coming back to teach you the icons on Blender, because I know looking at, how will I call it? If you're looking at the right side here, you would see a lot of icons around here. So I'll be coming back in the next topic and explain to you how all these icons works and what they do. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Keep watching our tutorials and I'll see you in the next class.